Hey everybody, we're on the road going north from South Utah to middle of Utah. What's the place that we're going? Delta. So let's see, we just thought we'd try this out, and last night we did a live stream on Hex-Ray Vision's YouTube channel, and that was baller. He's set up a studio in his house, and he's got all sorts of equipment, and it really looks awesome, and I really like his lights.
Big fan of the lights. Yeah, so we're just on the road chatting, talking about permaculture and some of the different ideas and uses of time and resources when you're not on the grid. You know, you don't have the electrical grid, you don't have the water from municipalities. So maybe you've got your own well, or maybe you're catching your own water. You also don't have the trash pickup that you do in a lot of counties and cities. So you are your own waste management, and you're your own water company and your own utility company, depending on how far off grid you go.
And I liked how you're talking about the terms of scarcity, abundance, and where we might be using those terms. In this case, it's maybe more of an efficiency type and an input-output. We want to make sure that our outputs are more than our inputs. And EcoBuild had a good example of using the resources properly at Paul Wheaton's place, and how you kind of do that. And
so out there at Wheaton Labs, they don't have recycling, so they have to, as each community member has cleanup duty or has recyclables, they organize it, and then they organize the trips into Missoula in order to recycle it, because just Montana doesn't have recycling at everybody's doorstep. They also have like very few landfill buckets where like you place things that can't be recycled or can't be reused or shouldn't be burnt on the property. And whenever I say burnt on the property, I mean like as like fire starters, so like cardstock or paper towels that you had used. I mean, even something that you blew your nose in would then be, that snotty thing would then dry out in the box that is then the burnable starter stuff whenever the winter starts, because they have focused a lot on fire science. Ernie and Erica Weisner are good friends of Paul Wheaton's, and they come out there often. Those people are fire science people who live in Washington State. They're very passionate about their craft. Out there in Washington, they have really been pioneering for municipalities to place certain types of fire structures or ways of heating your home with more efficient fires into the codes of the municipalities, so that the municipalities won't crack down, like cause you to be very sad, is what Paul says about allowing the government to see what it is that you're doing at your own house.
well, there's always a department of making you sad.
The department of making you sad is the exact term. And and I'm sure it makes you cry sometimes. But if you can imagine insurance people coming in and judging you, or things of that nature, coming in and saying like no, you can't get any financing, or you can no longer cover your house or something like that because you installed this thing or you built around it. Y'all have any ideas towards that stuff?
And I think the community we're going out to, they're gonna have to. They need solutions for the problems that we're talking about. How do they keep the recyclables? What do they do with them? How are they going to reuse and keep the inputs within the community? So that'll be fun to walk around and chat with them about that, see what their solutions are, and it's growing. There's different solutions in an urban environment. So where I'm at, my little urban farm, I call it, which isn't quite a farm, but it's still in a neighborhood. There's not a lot of land, a little quarter acre. We still have to think of ideas of how can we be more efficient with what we have. And I have to teach the kids, hey, don't throw those scraps from your dinner out into the trash. Throw them in this little compost bucket, or let's give these to the chickens. So on a real life example, that's one right there is food scraps. And I don't worry about the kids wasting food as much because I know it's going to go back into the system and be used and churned around in the system, and it'll become an output.
So this is Rogue Herbalist for people who don't know. And yeah, if you had a pig, then you'd realize this real fast. You'd start thinking about pig food, and whenever you're in town, like maybe some produce has been set aside next to a dumpster of like the natural grocers or something like that. So the pig eats real well, and so like whatever it is that you can't clean up, that pig can clean up for you. If you've never been to a how to become a farmer, how to start your small farm orientation, that would be a really cool thing for you to seek out in your local area. I remember the first time I went out to Boggy Creek Farms in Austin, and there's a lady running that who is like the salt of the earth. I mean, she is an amazing, thoughtful person, really soul connecting with the earth in that area, and really cares about people. And she's doing the community good by hosting programs there on her property, introducing people to that have that sort of interest. And so one of the things that came to mind whenever we're talking about scarcity and stuff is, where's your water going to come from? You guys got ideas on that subject? Like where we're going right now, because we're wanting to continue to inflate the idea of visiting places that teach people these things or that are already in action, and using them as examples, highlighting them. What sort of water sources do these people have? Because we're entering an arid environment, right?
Right. Well, and legally speaking, there's basically two types of water rights states. One's riparian, which I believe Utah's riparian, where you have to get a water share from the state in order to use water, like irrigation or drill a well, things like that. And then I believe every year or two you've got to recertify and prove to the government, yeah, I'm actually using this water, it's still under my name or whatnot. Other websites, I forget the name of the other legal structure, but basically if the water touches your land, you have access to it and the right to use it. And I think there's about 7 states in the West that the legal structure is you are buying water rights and water shares in order to have access to the water, drill a well, things of that nature. And almost every one of those states is also difficult, where they've had legal problems with people trying to harvest rainwater, which is ironic because if I've got to jump through these hoops to drill a well, then they're going to try and chose that other avenue, right, of catching rainwater or snow melt, things of that nature. So unless you're going to do it on the down low in a lot of these western arid states, you might be better off legally, if you want to do it legally, to go back east to a lot of places where they're not as worried about the water, you know.
So this place they do talk about the water rights, and there's two different types. I guess there's a few different types in Utah, but the main ones are your water that's on the surface and then underground. And you can have water, you can have a piece of land with water rights for surface water, anything that's above the ground, but not have the rights to drill a well or dig down and get into the cisterns. And they have the ones that you can dig down, also the surface water rights as well, so that's good. Their solution is, they were told that underneath where their land is, from the Great Salt Lake and all the way down through the valley, there's a huge underground lake, and that they're able to dig down into those cisterns and tap into that lake. And so I don't know if they've been able to prove this, if they've done studies yet, but they basically say they have almost an unlimited resource of this huge underground ancient lake underneath their location. So their idea is they're going to be able to, they've been using that for crops, they're going to use that for culinary, and they're going to be able to make that desert blossom. But it is a very arid, deserty place still right now until they can get that going and pulling out that water.
So let's go ahead and stop this here. This has been a test on how bad the road noise is. This is a Hex meetup right now. This is a farm tour, if you will. And so this is Rogue Herbalist. This is Hex-Ray Vision. I'm EcoBuild, and hashtag Crypto Takeover.
And EcoBuild's going to see how many folks here at the community he can onboard into Hex.
Yeah.
And make sure you join our Telegram channel at Hex Food Growers, all one word, t.me/food growers. And we'll be putting announcements there on our personal meetups. If you want to join us, if you're in the area, or you want to come join us on one of these farm or intentional community tours. And of course, we'll be talking about the larger community meetups, like the ones in Vegas and stuff. So let's get together in person. It's I know you can't always get together in person, but when you can, it's awesome. So yeah, join us there online, and then hopefully we'll be growing in real life as well.
That's t.me/Hex Food Growers. Thank y'all.